This whole scenario reminds me of the 2006 Dallas Mavericks versus the Miami Heat NBA Finals. Mark Cuban and Avery Johnson got obsessed with the officiating, and Dwayne Wade took them to school. I wrote a column then called The Cuban Whistle Crisis.
Nice.
That's what we have going on here. The Rockets are too obsessed with officiating.
Yes.
Play your game.
Damn. Cuban whistle crisis?
Yes.
Hey, I got one better, though.
What you got?
I got one better. All right. One, all this complaining will have an impact on this series. Let's just say that. When you're in the playoffs, it's do or die. You got to go for broke. Don't be too cool for school, and don't give a damn how it looks to those outside. This is a do or die circumstance. This is nothing but Phil Jackson philosophy 101. You know the coach with the most rings of all. You know why he has the most rings of all? Zen master, because he figures out moments like this. By putting this public pressure on the officials and all this conversation about the officials, only two things can happen. Either those officials come out there in game 2 and double down on being wrong, or they change their ways. And Houston's like, thank you. So Houston has put the Phil Jackson pressure on them. Telling you, no article written, Whitlock, but I'm telling you right now, it's going to work in Houston's favor.
I think the difference is the issue. Phil did it subtly in the media. And again, at the time, he didn't support it with documentation like Houston did. Now, Morey is an analytical person, so trust me, he's in the room breaking down the film and saying, this is how we're going to do it. My thing is this. I think it plays into the hands of officials being more critical over or their judgment calls early in this game. Both teams got to watch out for because it could go the other way. I think the first 3 to 5 minutes are going to dictate exactly what happens in this game. The judgment calls, the block charge, is going to be in effect. Okay, I think they'll be called closer. I think the traveling calls a little bit more.
Ticky-tack, you saying.
And the hand checking. Little stuff like that are going to be called a little bit closer because they can't give Golden State the advantage, because it look like, and they can't go to the side of Houston. So if I'm Golden State and I'm Steve Kerr, you know what I'm saying to my team? Whatever call the official makes, don't say a word. Don't say right or wrong. Just play the game. Because right now, it's too much pressure put on these officials to try to make the right call. And if you come out at the beginning of the game and start to contest everything they call, it's going to be some issues later on.
Well, what Scott Foster doing the game today, the NBA know what they was doing anyway. It's not going to be any complaining. It's going to be zero tolerance from the jump.
Exactly.
So the first team or first player, coach or whatever, to say something, they're getting teched up tonight. I could guarantee you that. Second of all, let's stop crying about this. I mean, the Rockets keep crying about the non-calls. I could recall several times that KD shot the ball and he couldn't land. Guys were under him, you know, and he didn't cry about it. The Rockets had several opportunities to win this game, and they should have won that game. Golden State played horrible. They had 20 turnovers, 15 unforced turnovers, and the Rockets should have won the game. They lost by 4 points. Clint Capella called I want Golden State, and didn't show up. P.J. Tucker didn't give him nothing. Like, come on, man. Accountability is everything. And where's your mental toughness? Doc Rivers always told us, hey, listen, Perk, I don't mind you getting all the texts you want in the regular season. In the postseason, I need you to cut down because those points add up and it could cost us the game. Also, don't leave the game in the officials' hands. Go out. You've been resting for 5 to 6 days while Golden State was playing the Clippers. You flew into Golden State early and disrespected the Clippers and said you flew in while they was playing and disrespected the Clippers anyway. Why wasn't you rested? Why didn't you come out with more energy anyway and blow Golden State out? They played horrible. You should have won by 20, and you wouldn't be complaining about the officials today.
Marcellus, again, and I think you guys are all athletes. I'm sure your coach told you, control what you can control. You can't control Scott Foster and the referees. Now, you can put pressure on them, and right now Scott Foster is trending over Twitter, and to me, that's crazy.
It is.
That's the worst thing. The NBA doesn't want it. It's just like I said yesterday. At the end of the day, this is a television show, and they want good TV, and that's not James Harden sitting at the foul line 20 times tonight.
Hey, but complaining about the officials is controlling what you can control because they're human beings. They can't be controlled. Look, the whole psychology about being self-conscious, someone's, hey, well, like, you got something on your lip. The reason I can say that, and you be like, no, and then you be like, cool. 5 seconds later, you're like,
You go right there. I feel something.
It's a beautiful psychology where once you put someone on notice, they either have to do the same or they're conscious of doing different. And that's all they're playing. Both teams, let's give them credit. They know that you win some, you lose some. You get some calls, so you miss some calls. They both know that. But who wants to play the game of intelligence, the psychology, Zen master? Who wants to go out there and make him trend? Because now when he comes out there, will he swallow his whistle?
So listen, my question is, if you Golden State, if you Steve Kerr, and you telling Steph and Klay to shoot, you telling them to do the same thing?
Oh, I am. I'm going to see how it works.
So I would tell them to play your same game because the officials either going to adjust to it or not.
Right.
Play your same game. Now, this is where I think the NBA made a mistake. On the 2-minute rule when they let out at the end of the game, after the game, the calls that were missed. Because it gives relevance right now for a team like Houston to go in and say, well, the NBA said they missed these calls. Okay, now that puts the officials in the back. I know you want to clean it up and make sure that there's no, favoritism, going on. I know you want to show it, but you can't do it this way because it puts too much pressure on the officials. Plus, it gives the team that was in the negative in regards to maybe missed calls, more ammunition to come back and do what they did right now.
But see, and then that goes to show the separation between James Harden and Kevin Durant. Because when it was down in the stretch under 7 minutes to go in the game and the game was close and it was a possession game, KD took over. He didn't need the refs to help him out. He took over down the stretch. Steph hit a crucial 3, but KD took over. Okay, James, on the other hand, on the other end, he could take over because he needed the help of the officials. KD didn't need the help of officials. He went out there, put the team on his back, and scored down wherever he wanted to. And James, he was crying for the fouls, and that's the difference between.
Kendrick, I love your point because what James Harden is screaming is, I know y'all calling me the MVP. I know y'all saying I had the best season, but the reality is I have a referee-dependent game. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, they can go get it regardless of what the officials doing. Me, I got to have some assistance. That's what he's screaming, and it's just wrong. Look, Steph and Klay came into that last game banged up, didn't play well, and you didn't go get it. You got your trips to the line. I think he shot 14 free throws, more than he shoots in the regular season.
True.
You didn't get it done. It's an insecure thing that they're doing, and they're screaming, just like Mark Cuban and the Mavericks did in 2006. We can't do this on our own. We're looking around for the officials to help us out, and it's an insecure play. That, to me, gives Golden State confidence and undermines the confidence of Houston.
Okay, well, I wouldn't go as far as insecure for me because there is gamemanship that always occurs in sports, and when you rely on it as a crutch and it's taken away from you in a moment, you need time to self-correct. Case in point, we're in the trenches. We play D-line, offensive lineman. They hold on every play. Now, if you get into a playoff game and the officials like flag, and you're like, wait a minute, these grippers been working for 16 games, and now you know that lineman is going to struggle for a minute, right? And we don't have a playoff series, so it might just be game over for that guy. I'm with you, Jimmy. I'm not liking the NBA's transparency without consequence in the last 2 minutes. You can't have words without actions. Stop telling me you got it wrong. I need some results to change, or else don't even be transparent because it's without merit. It's without base.
And if I'm petty, if I'm Bob Myers, or you want to talk about reviewing tape, I can be very petty right now and say, you know what, Chris Paul shouldn't be playing. The inadvertent contact he had with the official. You want to talk about letter of the law? You make contact with an official, you get fined, but guess what? You can't play the next game. I can be petty. So pick and choose your battles, Houston, when you talk about reviewing stuff and things not going your way.
That was a makeup call. That was a grand makeup call. We ain't going to kick them out because we know we messed up.
But understand, I can push that narrative if I'm Golden State.
True.
Okay, but I'm not. But that's why you walk that thin line when you start talking about making these complaints all the time, how it can affect you.